This video is made possible by Francisco Herrera Jr. at the Honda Superstore of Joliet. Francisco is a longtime car enthusiast who is dedicated to finding the perfect vehicle for you. Email him at the address on the screen or contact him with his information found in the description below. Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2022 Honda Civic Touring. Up front is a 1.5 liter turbocharged inline 4, and down below is a CVT. Now I'm super excited to be driving this here Honda Civic because it was only released a few days ago and I am already behind the wheel of it, which is so exciting. And on the day of this video's release, Honda is announcing the hatchback version of this car. So at the time of filming, I don't even know what the hatchback looks like, which is super exciting to be on the cutting edge of something. So let's see how the 11th generation Honda Civic stacks up. Well, let's get back to that 1.5 liter turbocharged inline 4. The Honda Civic retains the same engine options that it did in the outgoing 10th generation. So this one has a 180 horsepower 1.5 liter turbocharged inline 4, but there is also a 158 horsepower 2-liter inline 4 that has no turbo offered in the lower trims. Now this is the Touring, and as of right now this is the top trim of the Honda Civic, but if you get like a base model you're going to get a 2.0 liter non-turbo as opposed to the 1.5 liter turbo. And so because it is the same engine found in the last generation, my thoughts carry over in the fact that it makes a good amount of horsepower. It gets 31 miles to the gallon in the city, 38 on the highway, which is pretty good. And I've never felt like the Civic needed more power. I never felt like it was a lousy engine. The Earth Dreams engines have been pretty solid throughout Honda's use of them, and so there's not much more to say. Like I said, paired to it is a CVT, meaning continuously variable transmission, again carried over from the outgoing generation, and Honda CVTs are fine. They do the job, and it is what it is. Last but not least, the Honda Civic is front-wheel drive still. There is no all-wheel drive version offered from Honda, which I think was a little bit of a misstep. I wish that they had offered all-wheel drive because that's part of the reason I bought my Mazda 3 was for the all-wheel drive, Mazda 3 being a direct competitor to this here Civic. So I would have liked to have seen that. Before we get onto the interior, let's talk about the Touring package that starts at $28,300 American dollars. Well, we get the Bose audio system, wireless CarPlay, 18-inch alloy wheels with shark gray inserts, rear cup holders. Apparently the lower trims don't get them, only the EX and Touring get rear cup holders. Sunglasses holder, HomeLink remote system, auto dimming mirror, 8-way power seats, leather trim seats, 4-way adjusting passenger seat, heated and LED side mirrors, rain sensing wipers, LED fog lights, and parking sensors, among other things. So that's just a quick overview of some of the nice things that come standard on the Touring package. With all that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. We have quite a bit to go through in here. Well, in front of me, I have digital gauges, which is fantastic. On the left is my tachometer, and on the right is my speedometer, as well as, of course, my range, average MPG, and things of that nature. On the outside edges, I have my coolant temperature and fuel, which I think look really clean. And overall, this adds a really nice modern feel to the Honda Civic. On the steering wheel on the left, we have volume, skip track, and voice commands. And on the right, I have my adaptive cruise control settings. This does get adaptive cruise control, so you can set your following distance and the vehicle will speed up or slow down depending on the vehicle in front of you. As well as I also get paddle shifters, and I love the overall look and feel of the steering wheel itself. It mimics the exterior of the car where it's bubbly but also angular. I love the mix of that. It feels very modern, very crisp, and I don't feel like this is out of a 2007 Honda Civic like the outgoing model. To the left of me, I have a very peculiar air vent. We'll talk more about that air vent later on. Gauge dimmer switch and my parking sensors, traction control, and bubble button. The bubble button will turn off all of the Honda sensing features around the car, meaning lane keep assist, cross traffic alert, and things like that. On the door, I have my power mirrors, power windows, and power locks. And then we're moving into the center to talk about the infotainment. All right, let's talk Honda Civic infotainment. First of all, this is the infotainment system shared with the Honda Odyssey and other more modern vehicles. The outgoing 10th generation Civic, still the old system that was like from like 2015 or 16. something like that. So this finally gets the Honda's updated system. One other thing that this car gets, which is fantastic because it is the Touring model, you get wireless Apple CarPlay, which is fantastic and would be run through the smartphone connection. I do have like trip computer and things of that nature. You can swipe here. Let's look at vehicle settings, TPMS calibration, driver assist system, meter setup, keyless setup, lighting setup, door and window setup, or maintenance info. I love these images that they put on there. Just nice attention to detail, high quality, high resolution images, and I love that. Let's go home here, have a couple other apps I can go through, display mode, blah, blah. Smart shortcuts, which is really, really nice. Welcome to Smart Shortcuts. Your vehicle provides quick access to call, music, and navigation. So this is in lieu of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 buttons you'd find on older cars, for your favorites and things like that. Other than that, not too much stuff in the infotainment. Pretty basic here, although it does have a really nice refresh rate. Very, very responsive to my finger, as you are seeing here. Wireless Apple CarPlay is absolutely fantastic. That makes a world of difference. And then also, let's talk about the backup camera. The backup camera, I have a couple of different views that I can cycle through. This is like looking directly down. You can really get precise with your parking. Then this is a normal view, and this is more of a bubble view. You can see there's this sort of picnic bench thing over here. You can't see it in this mode, but you can see it in this mode, so this mode gives you a lot better of a view. I can also look at my parking sensors off to the right and keep that in window, or just make it the backup camera. One thing I'm disappointed in with the Honda Civic is the Honda Accord. When you turn on the turn signal, it turns on your blind spot camera. The Honda Civic does not have a blind spot camera when you turn on the turn signal, and Honda has had that technology for years and years and years. I don't understand why it hasn't trickled down to the top tier of the Honda Civic. I understand leaving that off of the base model, but this is the Touring. This is the nice one. This is the one you aspire to get. So I would have liked to have gotten a blind spot camera, but not the end of the world. Down below the infotainment, we have more of those peculiar vents, so let's talk about them. I love the look of them. Very modern, very different. They actually remind me of the 2016 Lamborghini Huracan that I drove. Tons and tons of hexagons, and I love that look. But then they also have these joysticks that stick out of the front to direct the air in whatever direction you want to go. This is very interesting and modern, very different. I haven't seen something quite like this in cars. They really remind me of the joysticks for manual mirrors back in the day. Back when cars had manual mirrors, they sort of remind me of those joysticks. Then we come to the climate controls. A couple interesting things here. First of all, I do have heated seats for the front two occupants, which is great. But also, I have these nice little digital readouts on the knobs themselves, specifically on the fan speed. When I turn the fan up, I get this nice little light that comes up. I absolutely love that changing inside the dial. Makes the car feel more alive and more wholesome. Down below that, I do have two USB ports, one for charging and one for plugging into the radio. If you want to do that, however, like I mentioned, this does have wireless CarPlay. And then I get a 12-volt, 180-watt outlet to the right and a wireless charger, which I love. Very, very modern. Then we come to the center console itself. So on the left is the shifter, pretty standard there. Nothing really too crazy. And then down below that, we have our drive modes. So I have Econ, Normal, and Sport, which I love. It does give you a little graphic up on that digital dash when you switch drive modes. That's nice. I wish that it did a little bit more of like an animation, a little bit more fanfare. However, this is still a Civic, so I'm not complaining too much. Then I have the automatic start-stop on and off. Love that feature that you can disable it, because I really am bothered by the automatic start-stops in cars these days. And then power parking brake and the auto holding brake. To the right of that, we do have cup holders, so let's do a big friggin' bottle test. And the bottle does fit. Barely. It doesn't sit all the way down in the bottom. I took a corner, it didn't fall over, so we are going to give the 2022 Honda Civic a pass on the big friggin' bottle test. Inside the center console, don't really get anything. And then we gotta talk about the seats. Now, the Touring model gets an 8-way power adjustable driver's seat that is heated. Fantastic. I love that. And the passenger seat is actually 4-way adjustable and heated as well. So those are two touring model specs that you can get, which I absolutely love. The seats themselves are pretty comfortable. They don't hold you in super aggressively, but this isn't a Type R, this isn't a race car, so I really enjoy the pleasant feel. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2022 Honda Civic sedan. And first of all, let's open up these cup holders. This is an EX and Touring feature, is getting cup holders in the armrest, which is slightly weird, but I do get 2 rear USB ports, which is fantastic and something that isn't found in the Mazda 3. Knee room is okay. My knees are hitting the front seat. However, I could be generous and move up a little bit. Headroom is decent. I'm 5'11", and I have probably about half an inch to an inch of headspace up above me. Nothing really too crazy. From a Honda Civic, I don't really expect too much. This is the smaller chassis offered from Honda. If backseat room is a huge must, the Accord and the Insight are very, very good in terms of backseat space. So if you drive people around a lot, I'd highly recommend looking at one of those. But now let's go take a quick look at the trunk, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, now around the back of the 2022 Honda Civic, first of all, I'm getting Audi A3 vibes here a little bit, but let's go take a look at the trunk. Nice large opening, very, very impressive opening. I really, really like that. Of course, these are the floor mats because this is a new car. We don't want to scuff them up for the first customer. Now, something really nice is that you also have these little levers which will release the second row of seats. So you guys have been asking me to do this recently, to actually pull down these seats. And there you go. That's how much room you get. Kind of a small-ish opening, but really nice. You could slide things through if you're gonna move or anything like that. Let's get another view from over here. I think you guys would be pretty happy with this amount of space. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and this is the most controversial part of the new Honda Civic. It looks a lot like a Honda Accord now. It looks like the Accord's little brother, which the Civic has always been. And honestly, I like it. I think it's fresh. I think it's different. I love the turn signals in the headlights are lines like they are in my Mazda 3. I like the new nose. I like the 18-inch wheels that the Touring gets. These are 18-inch alloy wheels. I think overall this is a good-looking car. And so let's get to my final talking point here in the 2022 11th generation Honda Civic. Well, the Civic has always been a bread and butter basic car that you know is going to work. I've reviewed tons of Civics ranging from the 90s up until obviously today. And the story has always been the same with the Civic. It's nothing special, but they're reliable, they're affordable, they're good looking enough, they're comfortable enough, they're well equipped enough that they really are good all around cars. College car, first car, just a car to get A to B. You almost cannot beat a Honda Civic. But what's different about the 2022 model is the fact that this is the new generation and it has done something that hasn't been done for me in years, which is make me excited for the new Civic. I'm excited to start seeing these pop up on the roads. I'm excited to see what the hatchback looks like, and you watching this video right now have the luxury of Googling it. I'm excited to see the SI version. I'm excited to see the Type R version. I'm excited by this car, which I can't say I've felt about a Honda Civic in years. The last time was when they unveiled the Civic Type R here in the US. For years and years and years, we never got a Civic Type R, and they finally brought it here in the late 2010s. And so I was excited by that, but that was the last time I truly was excited about a Civic until today. I'm excited about this car. This is actually an exciting car for me. I've been telling people all week that I was gonna get a 2022 Civic today, and the day has finally come, and I think this car has really lived up to the expectations. Does it ride like a Bentley? No. Is it as fast as a GTR? No. But Honda Civics never were and were never meant to be. I love this little car. I think it's fantastic, and I think the redesign went really well. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Francisco from the Honda Superstore of Joliet. These things are flying off the lot. We've been trying to find a day and time to come film this thing, and we just couldn't make it work because they just kept selling like hotcakes. Every time they got one in, before I could get out and film it, it had already been sold. So I'm glad we finally found a time. This car is literally fresh off the truck. It just got its inspection done not even an hour ago, so I'm super glad that Francisco was able to get me behind the wheel. He's absolutely awesome. He's a car enthusiast himself. So if you are interested in the new Honda Civic or any other vehicle from Honda's lineup, please reach out to Francisco. He will work out a deal with you. He's super down to earth, super friendly, and just a genuinely good person, which I think is sometimes hard to find with car salesmen. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.